List the Indian Syst. List the Indian systems of medicine. Ayurveda and Siddha system of medicine are considered Indian system of medicine in true sense. Ayurveda is practiced throughout India but Siddha is practiced in Tamil-speaking areas of South India. Both these systems differ very little in their theory and practice. Indian systems of medicine. Ayurveda system. Ayurveda means science of life. Based on Tridosha theory of disease, diseases occur when there is disequilibrium in three doshas, humor, namely vata, wind, pitta, gall, and kapha, mucus. Siddha system. Kama, Siddha means achievement. Based on notion that medical treatment has to take into account the patient's environment, age, sex, race, physiological constitution, etc. Significance. Indian system of medicine is very much alive in India today and is being promoted by Government of India under Ayush scheme. Social medicine. Social medicine is the study of man as a social being in his total environment comprising physical, biological and social environment. It is an expression of humanitarian tradition in medicine and people read into it any interpretation consistent with their own aspirations and interests. It is concerned with the body of knowledge embodied in epidemiology and the study of medical needs or medical care of the society. Concept first introduced by Neumann and Virchow. Term was coined by Jules Guérin. Components: social anatomy, social physiology, social pathology, social therapy. Applications: development of epidemiological methods and their application to the investigations of disease. Advantages: social medicine focuses on the health of the community as a whole. It emphasizes the strong relationship between medicine and social science. Limitations: it is virtually isolated from the service world and confined mostly to academic study of health services and chronic B reservoir of infection. Humans are the only known host and reservoir of infection. There is no animal reservoir. The human reservoir may be an active clinical case or a carrier. Even the carrier state in polio is temporary and there is no chronic carrier state. Throat secretions and feces of the diseased individual in early stage and only feces in later stages. 1 week before and 3 weeks after the onset of signs and symptoms. See infective material. D. Period of infectivity. Agent factors. A. Age. B. Sex. A male-female ratio 3:1. Euros risk. Fact and provocative poliomyelitis. Several risk factors or provocative factors favor precipitation of attack of paralytic poliomyelitis in susceptible individuals with latent virus. These factors are painful intramuscular injections, especially of alum-based DPT vaccine, fatigue, trauma, exercise, head and neck region surgeries like tonsillectomies, adenoidectomies, tooth extraction, immunity. All age groups are susceptible but maximum incidence in age group of 6 months to 3 years registered sign. After first 6 months of life the maternal antibodies gradually disappear. Infection offers lifelong immunity. However, there is no cross-immunity degrees, LA. Infection with one poliovirus type does not offer immunity against the other types. Environmental factors. A. Season. Majority of cases seen in June to September and lowest transmission in November to March. B. Other factors: overcrowding, poor sanitation and contamination of food and water favor transmission of virus. Significance. After successful eradication of smallpox, the WHO has targeted poliomyelitis for global eradication. Considering the epidemiological factors favoring its eradication, and India is doing its best for polio eradication through National Polio Eradication Program. A country is certified for polio eradication if there is no virologically confirmed diagnosed case of polio for last 5 years. There is interruption of wild poliovirus circulation in India. Last case was reported on January 13, 2011 at Hara, West Bengal. What is the contribution to medical sciences by A. Robert Koch, B. John Snow, C. James Lind. A. Robert Koch. Robert Koch 1843–1910, was as a German practitioner. He is known as father of medical microbiology. Contributions. He introduced staining techniques for bacteria. He introduced methods of obtaining bacteria in pure culture using solid media, agar. He isolated first bacteria, anthrax bacilli, in pure culture. He discovered the bacillus of tuberculosis and the cholera vibrio. He perfected idea of steam sterilization along with his assistant. He produced new tuberculin. He demonstrated Koch phenomenon, which is a hypersensitivity reaction seen in a guinea pig already infected with the tuberculous bacilli when the tubercle bacillus or its protein is injected into it. Period. He proposed the Koch's postulates, which are the criterion or conditions laid down by Koch to accept a microorganism as the causative agent of an infectious agent. They are: the bacterium should be constantly associated with the lesions of the disease. It should be possible to isolate the bacterium in pure culture from the lesions. Inoculation of such pure culture into suitable laboratory animals should reproduce the lesions of the disease. It should be possible to re-isolate the bacterium in pure cultures from the lesions produced in the experimental animals. He introduced a toxil for treatment of sleeping sickness. We won Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1905 for investigation and discoveries in relation to tuberculosis. John Snow. John Snow was a British doctor practicing in London. He is often called father of epidemiology, modern epidemiology, for his study of cholera. He is also known as greatest doctor. Contributions. He studied epidemiology of cholera in London, 1848 to 1854. He established causative role of polluted water in spread of cholera. He devised system of methodological observations of natural events or experiments. He studied and calculated dosage for use of ether and chloroform as surgical anesthesia. James Lind. James Lind, 1716 to 1794, was a Scottish naval surgeon who by his work influenced practices of preventive medicine and good nutrition among British soldiers. Contribution to community medicine. Contribution to epidemiology. James Lind was the first ever to conduct a clinical trial for his study to find treatment of scurvy. Treatment of scurvy? James Lind performed a human experiment in which he added different substances to diet of 12 soldiers who were suffering from scurvy. He divided his patients into 6 pairs and supplemented the diets of each pair with cider, elixir, vitriol, vinegar, seawater, a mixture of nutmeg, garlic, mustard and tamarind and barley water, and 2 oranges and 1 lemon daily. All the subjects were studied for 6 days and it was observed that the limeys recovered from scurvy. Thus, he advocated the intake of fresh fruit and vegetables for prevention of scurvy. See naval hygiene. He advocated practice of naval hygiene like drying of ships by using better ventilation, improvement in clothing and cleanliness of sailors, fumigation of ships with sulfur and arsenic. What do you mean by deprofessionalization of medicine? Deprofessionalization of medicine means involvement of laymen in delivery of health care. New cadre of health workers like community health workers, Anganwadi workers, multi-purpose workers, social workers, etc., are being considered and tried for providing health care to the community with relatively little training and support. It is essential for providing primary health care. Significance. Though physician still holds unique position in healthcare in general, however, he can no longer restrict himself to his traditional role as detector of ailments, provider of treatment, but is now also has become an educator, case finder, preventer, counselor and an agent of social change.